Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Speliotis. I'm the director of the Somerville Council on Aging, and I'm here today on Senior Circuit with Phelan Howell, who is our new Health and Wellness Coordinator here at the Council on Aging. Some of you may have gotten to know her or take a class with her. She joined us in October. But welcome, Phelan. Why don't you share a little bit about yourself and about the position that you have here at the Council on Aging?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ashley, for that introduction. So I am originally from Northern Vermont, a small town called Montgomery, which is about 15 minutes from the Canadian border. I stayed in Vermont to go to college. I went to the University of Vermont in Burlington, where I earned my degree in exercise science in May of 2020. And due to the well-known events of 2020, when I graduated, I took a remote role. In this position, I coached individuals with chronic conditions through individualized nutritional and physical activity interventions. I then moved to Somerville in 2021 and soon moved on from the remote job life and took a position working in a private fitness center that was in a corporate office building in Cambridge. In this role, I became a certified personal trainer and group exercise instructor, which allowed me to train with individuals either one-on-one as well as with small and large groups. I was eager to apply to the Health and Wellness Coordinator position when that came up within the Council on Aging, because I was and still am really drawn to the public service aspect of working for local municipalities, as well as providing crucial access to health and wellness opportunities. So I've had this role, like you said, since October of 2022, and I'm excited each and every day to come to work. In my free time, I like to actually attend group exercise sessions and let someone else lead me for a change from my work week. And then when the weather is manageable, I also like to spend time walking our little dog Rolo on the Somerville community path.
That's great. I understand what you're saying about and going to different classes and having somebody lead you in different exercises, because I think a lot of times our participants who come here or who see the exercise programs on cable television or read about them in our newsletter think that you are out there in the forefront leading a lot of exercise programs, which is true. And then there is another portion of your job about health and wellness education. But really, why don't you give people a little bit of taste of what your exercise programs are comprised of, like different, of course, not showing us, but just explaining the different exercise programs that you lead and maybe some other community members lead as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I could do is I could go through like our regular schedule of activities, just like in a little blurb.
Sure. Mhm.
So our regular schedule consists of multiple general exercise classes, both in person and virtual, via Zoom. I believe that offering these Zoom classes is an important aspect in creating access to health and wellness. We can touch a little bit more on that later, but it caters to those who otherwise may not want to exercise in a group setting in person, but it still allows for that socialization piece while still getting their bodies up and moving. And like offering classes at varying times throughout the week and at multiple locations throughout the city of Somerville also increases our reach throughout the community. Additionally,
Yeah.
sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say that that's something that we really learned here at the Council on Aging throughout the pandemic was the need for Zoom exercise and virtual exercise programs, because sometimes it's really just a preference of what people can do, what they can fit into their schedule. But other times there are other factors involved, like cost or transportation. And I know you've been sharing with us that sometimes we even have folks outside of Somerville and friends of friends who can do these exercise classes with family members or from members of their book club or church community. So it really has been a focus to try to have your general exercise class, but also some of our others, like our Ageless Grace program, also be virtual.
Absolutely, yeah. So like you were saying, the virtual classes and the in-person classes, but I would say mostly the virtual classes tend to bring in people from different communities that might not be able to come to the Holland Street Center or the Ralph and Jenny Center. So I think it's good to even get outside of that Somerville community a little bit, but we're still offering our services to, mainly Somerville. I can keep going on what we offer through the health and wellness opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you teach multiple classes of our general exercise class Fit for Life throughout the day, but there are other disciplines of exercise and some exercise programs that some people may not even consider to fall under the category. I'm thinking of our music and movement class, which is very gentle movements while sitting during a live performer, which is also characterized as getting up and getting going. But I'll let you describe a little bit more the exciting programs that are starting this month and some of the ones that we've had in the past.
Yeah, for sure. So we generally offer like weekly specialty classes that can change month to month, but we do have like our core classes that stay through us throughout the year. Some specialty classes include line dancing, healthy steps. We offer Qigong sometimes, which is a form almost of Tai Chi. We also offer yoga classes. Our yoga class has actually become so popular that we have decided to add a second yoga class to our weekly ongoing schedule. That is one that is kind of our core, along with the Fit for Life. So we had to accommodate for the demand for our yoga classes.
Exactly. Not a bad problem to have, right?
Absolutely not. No. And then we also have Zumba coming up starting at the Holland Street Center in March. So that'll be exciting.
That's a really great initiative I just want to touch upon because a little different for our regular participants, and that we've actually joined with the Somerville Recreation Department, and they were able to find us a Zumba class, an area which we weren't offering current classes. So a special note to say anyone who's interested in Zumba to give you a call and that you will help them register through the Recreation Department.
Absolutely. Yes, I will.
Yeah.
And then just the final thing that I offer weekly, except for the month of February, with weather and everything, is we do have a walking club on Friday mornings where we do get to use that wonderful Somerville community path. So that's a great thing to do to start your weekend off on a Friday morning. If you want to join us for a little walking group, we generally go for about an hour or so. And it's great. It's great to get that outside time right before our weekend starts.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was impressed that everybody made it through the month of January with little interruptions, but February just got a little bit too chilly, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think another point to recognize is that we do, like you mentioned, we have our Fit for Life or our general exercise program. That's a core program offered here at the Howell Street Center and recently expanded to the Ralph and Jenny Center on Mondays. But we do have all of these varying instructors coming in for 6-week programs that under your position coordinate and schedule, but a lot of requests come from our community and a lot of ideas of how people want to get moving and stay active and be social. So we always welcome new ideas and new thoughts and new classes to try out. I think I believe our Ageless Grace program is coming back, and that is a program really, I'm sure you can explain more, but it's thinking outside the box a little bit. Am I right in that?
Yes, it is. Ageless Grace is a great class. I love to sit in on that one. So that one is taught through Zoom as well. The instructor, she takes participants through seated movements. They're all either you do it the whole time in your chair, and she choreographs little skits sometimes or exercises and movements to different types of music. It's really a fun class to sit through and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's always new opportunities coming up on the fitness side. I think it's nice to let people know that we're fortunate with the support from the city council, from the mayor's office, through different grants, through our state initiatives, that all of our exercise classes are currently free of charge. So
Yeah.
there is a process to contact Phelan and to sign up, some screenings, but that there is no cost to join and to become active.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great way, keeping that exercise and the wellness opportunities free of charge to our seniors, is just one of the major, we're crossing the major barrier to create access for health and wellness for our older adult population here in Somerville.
That's right. And wellness is, I would say, the other half of your job. Is
Yes,
that correct?
definitely.
In developing some educational opportunities for
Yeah.
seniors.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if you'd like to share about your recent educational program that you had in the center.
Yes, absolutely. That one was a little bit out of the box, but it was still a great time. So in January, I had a volunteer come in from Pet Partners, and she came and gave an educational lecture about about the benefits of licensed therapy animals. And she was kind enough to bring in her two licensed therapy guinea pigs named Calvin and Hermie. Our seniors had a great time holding them, petting them, feeding them, and just learning about all the beneficial ways that licensed therapy pets and emotional support animals can have on us.
Exactly, because wellness and our health is more than physical fitness. It is a huge part to living well and aging well, but wellness is a comprehensive thought of mental health, physical health, nutritional health. And Phelan, I know you work a lot with Mary, with our nutritionist
Mhm.
here. And in fact, your Fit for Life program or general exercise program has that nutrition component in there. So it is a whole comprehensive fitness. And I don't want to stray too far on health and wellness, but getting the motivation to become active and to participate. What I guess is a two-part question for you, or two-part topic to talk about, is really what are those benefits of physical fitness, and how do you even stay motivated? You shared with us about how fitness has been a large part of your life, a large part of your education, a huge part of your employment history. So, what are those magic components of staying motivated and getting that little gumption to join a fitness class?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. This is one of my favorite questions and things to talk about in general. There are so many benefits to adding movement to your weekly routine. Your body wants to work and it wants to be put under stress, specifically healthy physical stress. When you get your body moving, you increase your heart rate, more blood circulates between your brain and your muscles. And simply put, this can lead to increases in muscle strength, joint flexibility, and bone density. And then, like you were saying, it also increases our mental health, whether it be just putting us in a happier mood. It also can help with memory ability. Your sleep quality and appetite can greatly increase as well. These changes can be seen even with small increases in physical activity and exercise in our daily or weekly routine, especially in the older adult population. So I am very passionate about the positive effects of this physical activity and exercise, and I'm thrilled to be able to give access to health and wellness through this position. To answer your second part of how to stay motivated, that's a tricky one.
I think I'm going to interrupt you first,
Yeah.
because I just want to point out to people, like you said, that even your sleep can be affected by how much you're moving. And I know we hear a lot from people who come in who may be having trouble sleeping and
Yes.
maybe attributing it to different things, but to trying even some of our kind of low impact
Mm-hmm.
exercise classes, because we talked about the varied programs that we have, but I don't know if you can touch upon a little bit about what the classes look like, because I don't think they may not have been the same as what you were teaching before with one-on-one clients, or what people normally consider exercise classes in a fitness location or gym.
Definitely. Yeah. So in my general exercise class, I tend to focus obviously geared towards older adults, and it's important to plan for all abilities because when you make a participant feel comfortable, um, they want to keep coming back, which is one of the main components of motivation. But in each class that I do teach, I take my participants through flexibility, strength, endurance, and balance training. That's just my classes specifically. Every movement I give can be done seated or standing up. Sometimes I will have to give modifications to do a slightly different movement if someone is sitting down rather than standing up, but I still give them a modification that focuses on the same thing that the whole class is focusing on at that time.
Mhm.
And then just by training flexibility through stretches, strength, through weight training. So we do have our hand weights here that we use that can go all the way up from 1 pound to 12 pounds. That definitely can help with our strength, muscle mass, muscle strength. And then endurance is having to do with our cardiovascular system normally. And so if you do movements and exercises with limited rest periods in between, you can train your cardiovascular system to become more efficient, and it builds endurance. And then we also finish up our Fit for Life classes with balance training. And that is a great way to decrease our risk of falls. Even like when you're walking outside, if you trip over your feet or, stub your toe, that balance training comes in mighty handy.
That's right. That's right. I like how you pointed out that it's a very inclusive environment, that it is, everybody has a chair next to them. Some people use it and some people do not, but all the exercises can be modified. And I think that is important across the board for Zumba coming up, the Chai Tea, I think everything, even our yoga, is most people think that it's yoga and mats and on the floor, but the majority and the majority of the movements and is geared towards chair yoga, modified, and really going at your own speed.
Definitely. Yeah. When you do offer these modifications and going at your own speed, again, it just creates that motivation and allows for people to keep coming back to the Holland Street Center or the Ralph and Jenny Center, or even if they're just doing the Zoom classes, they feel, like you said, included and safe, and they're just more likely to keep it going. Whereas if they were to use like a regular gym or fitness center, they may not. So it's really important that I feel that we offer this safe and welcoming environment to have those health and wellness opportunities.
Yeah. And I interrupted you before when you were getting to the answer of what you think motivates others. You explained that a little bit, but what motivates yourself to continue to
Absolutely.
exercise?
So I would say the most important thing to focus on is finding activities that interest you and that you enjoy. When you find an activity that is enjoyable to you, you are so much more likely to continue with that activity than if you were just doing something you do not enjoy just to get your amounts of exercise or physical activity increased. When you have something to look forward to, i.e. like my group exercise class that I go to when I'm off the clock, or if you enjoy yoga or walking with a friend, your intrinsic motivation, the motivation that you have inside of you, is just so much more, it's just so much higher. Yeah, another classic way to become and stay motivated is to bring along a friend or a neighbor or a family member to join you when you go to that activity, because it creates a sense of accountability, and then you have someone else that's relying on you to actually show up and keep it up.
That's right. I think you explained a lot about health and wellness here in Somerville now, and you're becoming familiar with the community and with the Council on Aging. What do you envision health and wellness is going to look like a few years from now?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I think the most important thing to look at when you think of health and wellness in a community specifically for older adults is that aging in place is a crucial piece of providing that health and wellness to a senior community by providing access to resources that extend health and happiness in a lifetime. We can promote an environment that welcomes seniors rather than just pushing them to the sidelines. Here at the Council on Aging, we provide attainable ways to maintain a physically active lifestyle geared specifically to senior citizens. And then, like you said, we also provide resources on nutrition, healthy eating habits, mental health awareness. And then we also just create a social and fun environment for our senior community that prevents that isolation, which unfortunately is a huge problem, especially during the pandemic and even after this post-pandemic state. Just one example of trying to prevent that isolation is that several types of virtual exercise classes that we offer. So yeah, that's just generally what I envision health and wellness looking like, is just creating that community and environment that promotes aging in place, which is just so crucial for
Yeah,
aging
I
adults.
think that there's a lot, like you mentioned, that at times we hear from people that maybe haven't been hardcore exercisers their whole life, or even people who have never joined a fitness class, who are now in their 70s or 80s, and we still see them, joining for the very first time. And there's a lot of benefit for that, and a lot of benefits, like you said, to your physical wellness. And there's a lot of opportunities here because there seems to be a great mix of focus on our cardio, on endurance, and there's even a strength and balance class on Mondays, which is virtual as well. So if you're looking for something a little bit more targeted.
Yes, definitely.
And I don't know if there is any kind of advice that you would want to give somebody who wants to become physically active or join one of our classes.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're looking to become physically active, I would just say that the thought of wanting to become more physically active is the first step in actually doing so. Scientifically, technically speaking, this is actually called a contemplation phase, and it is real and it's important. In personal training, when someone wants to start a new routine, an important thing to do with them is set a SMART goal, SMART goal. This is a goal that is S specific, M measurable, A attainable, R relevant, and T timely. So instead of just telling yourself like, oh, I want to exercise more, maybe try writing down a SMART goal. For example, I want to go on a 20 to 30-minute walk outside 2 times this week. The goal is clear, specific, time-based, attainable, and related to your general goal of exercising more. And then if you happen to meet this goal or not, you can then adjust accordingly to change your SMART goal.
The goal shouldn't be like running a marathon, right?
No, it should not.
No.
Unless you have some years of experience, then you go for it.
Yeah, I don't think I will. I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse.
Nope, not yet. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll run that Boston Marathon. We'll see.
Maybe.
And yeah, just going along with that, it's important to find activities you like to do. Like I said, it keeps you motivated, and it'll keep you sticking with it. And like you said, if anybody that is watching or if anybody has any questions about any type of health or wellness activity that they've heard of and they don't know if we offer it, definitely reach out to me or the Council on Aging and we can talk to you about that. We want to give the community what they want. We want to bring our seniors in here, create more access for them for our health and wellness opportunities. So if anyone has any suggestions, my ears are open.
That's right, absolutely. Because right now, like you mentioned, there are some virtual options that are available. There is in-person classes at the Holland Street Center. There's new classes available at the Ralph and Jenny Center. There is opportunities where you have partnered down at the Mystic Learning Center and other facilities. You go over to our VNA assisted living to provide services there. So there's a lot to choose from that people can contact, and also to mention that you will be rolling out a new series over time on our cable station as well, which is the general Fit for Life program, a general exercise I say always give the caveat to do what you can and follow along. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Even if you just hop on and you just want to watch me go through the exercises just to maybe get an idea of what my class looks like. And then you're like, oh, I could do that next week. Come on and join us again.
That's right.
Yeah, I would just say to make sure you have a safe space around you. Like I mentioned before, we do use the chair quite a bit. Even if we are standing, we use it for support when we are standing in case we get a little wobbly. And then I will tend to use hand weights that I have here at the center. But if you don't have hand weights at home, you can use water bottles that you might have lying around. You can use canned food, anything that you can hold in your hands just to add that little bit extra of resistance. Or you can just use your body weight. That's a great way to start moving as well, too.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much, Phelan. And for those of you out there, thank you for joining us on Senior Circuit. And we look forward to hearing from you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.